Space for real, unfiltered conversations about healing, trauma, and authentic mothering. I'm Lily, and I'm so glad you're here with me tonight. This show is the DNA of what it means to look at a broken cycle in the eyes and choose a completely different story for your future. Whether you are folding laundry, hiding in a closet for a moment of peace, or just needing to know you're not alone in the struggle, welcome home. Let's get into today's episode.
Where appearances were absolute royalty. If you were looking on the outs, if you were outside looking in, my mom wanted it completely flawless to everyone. It didn't matter that inside I was crumbling. I spent my childhood walking on eggshells, completely hypervigilant, doing everything and anything I could do to make sure my toxic environment stayed perfectly intact. I remember even as a child, I couldn't even mix Play-Doh together without getting in trouble. And that's how you create. That's how you have imagination. But then I became a mother, and the switch just flipped. You look at your children and you realize the chain has to stop with me. I am burning down the stage. But here is the terrifying truth no one warns you about. How do you give a child a map to a place you've never actually been? Welcome to the first episode of Motherhood After Dark. I'm Lilith. This podcast is a sanctuary for mothers and moms who are completely done with performing. We drop the heavy armor of curated aesthetic parenting and we step into the raw 3 a.m. truths of what it really takes to reparent ourselves while we raise our own kids. Whether you're deep in the trenches of motherhood, aspiring to be there, or just trying to heal your own inner child, you belong here. Tonight, the performance is finally over. We are letting things get messy. Tonight, we are mixing the Play-Doh. Thanks for joining. There's teamwork between the two parents, and it makes the dream work kind of thing. And I fear that it did make the dream work for my mom in a sense. But I'll explain why and the dynamic that I grew up in. My mom she was like the matriarch of our family. She made a lot of decisions. She did a lot of things. It was very, what you would say, forward thinking in our family. I didn't dress very girly. I would dress androgynous. That was just how she dressed me as a child, and I believe that's how she dressed my sister. She didn't like the girly girl aesthetic at all. She often talked down upon it. There was an aesthetic that she wanted, and we had to follow it. She wanted Play-Doh perfect in its containers. The colors were certain colors. I remember, I don't remember what set it was, but I remember specifically, I put a color in the set, and I pulled the lever down, and it made some, strings of something, and then I went to go put another color in and mix it, and I got in trouble for mixing the colors and creating with Play-Doh. That's just a story of moments where I've had to reparent myself because it's extremely triggering to just play with Play-Doh now as an adult with my daughter. I walked on eggshells. We had an image that we had and a perfect aesthetic that we had to follow. I remember when I was a kid, I would get in so much trouble on the way home from church because I would rip my stockings. I look back and I remember why. It's because I didn't like the texture of them and it was uncomfortable to wear. And Like, I know now that it's very much because I'm on that neurodivergent spectrum, but I would get in trouble because of my sensory overloads. And that was hard to live in. I got in trouble a lot. I'll say that I've always been someone that's pushed my boundaries as much as I can and tried to get away with as much as I can because of that. Because of living in that situation. I still very much followed how things were supposed to be. For instance, like at the end of the school year, when you get your grades and you get your comments about being how they were in class and everything, I wanted to make sure the teachers would say, "A pleasure to have in class. I can always rely on Lilith or Lily." That's how I went that's who I went by when I was a child. And like I said earlier, I got in trouble for mixing Play-Doh together. To jump back into that time, it was some kit that I had gotten for like a birthday or Christmas or something, and I put like the color red in and like pushed the lever down and strings came out or whatever. And then I put in the color yellow without cleaning it out and pushed it down. And so it mixed the colors. And then I heard the words, "You ruined it." I was just playing with Play-Doh, mixing it together, creating, enjoying, and I ruined it in my mother's eyes. And so there was tension, there was walking on eggshells, there was the obsession of the outside image of that everybody had to be perfect, that she wanted this perfect image, and our family was not perfect by any means, and people knew it. When you show up for church and your husband doesn't show up, there's an obvious reason, like he's working or something. But she cared about that image and what it looked like and wanted to make sure that everybody knew that he was at work, or that he had worked, or that, that was just, it was his choice to make money for the family. There was a lot of making sure that I protected my mother's image. Like, for instance, I didn't invite or have a lot of friends over as a child because I didn't want people to see how she really was, because other moms didn't act like that when I went to other people's houses. And so I knew something was different. My mom also dealt with a lot of rage from her childhood, from her life in general, motherly duties, you name it, there was rage because of it. She had a lot of unforgiveness, is what she said, later on in life. And I don't think it really ever changed, though, because her anger subsided later on, but she still talked the same. But the thing that really changed everything for me was when I became a mother, and I was roughly about 4 months pregnant. I grew up in a really religious home, and this home had to be picture perfect for church and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, was very much like there every Sunday and Wednesday kind of thing. Very important to be a Christian. Like, my mom had her quiet time in the morning and all that kind of stuff, and just would very religious. But because of that, I, in my adulthood, have separated myself from Christianity and the church and things like that, because of how deeply ingrained my childhood trauma is. And so when I became a mom, I needed to have a conversation with my mom of saying, hey, we're not going to raise my daughter in religion. We want her to make that choice herself. We want her to have that option. We want her to have the choice. We don't want her completely raised in it. We want her to make the decision. My mother said to me, so you're okay if, for instance, you get in a car crash on the way home and you die and you and your daughter go to hell? I said, I guess, but I don't believe in that. And I want my daughter to make her own decisions, and I want her to make her own decision later in life, and I want her to be able to explore. And she was just very adamant about, oh, well, I'll just take her to church on Sundays and Wednesdays. And I said, no.
Her to make
I
her
don't
own
want her
decisions.
raised in it. I don't want her
to make that
really
choice.
around it very much. Be able to explore and make that decision. And she was very adamant about, well, I'll just do it. And I said, no, this is my child. And she did not like it. And then there was another time when, like, it was like my last straw, really, was when I had gone to the hospital because I was pregnant with my daughter during COVID. And because of the way the things worked during COVID, because they just wanted me to get checked. Because, like, I woke up with round ligament pain, and I didn't know it was round ligament pain. And I didn't know it was round ligament pain. I just knew I was in lots of pain in my belly where I was pregnant, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't my appendix. And because I couldn't stand up and I had to call out of work, I was in so much pain. And I didn't call my mom because I wasn't close to her like that. I've never been close to her like that. I've never called her when I've needed a moment. That's I think the hardest for me was I've never had that for a reason. I've never done that for a reason. Like, I've never felt safe to call her. But anyways, so I call the nurse hotline. It's early in the morning, so they can't, because of COVID, they can't fit me in because they're only taking moms that have appointments and are cleared for their appointments like 24 hours beforehand. And so they said to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital and had just literally was hooked up to a machine and had had my contractions checked like I had for like the last month of my pregnancy anyways, because of my blood pressure and checking on her to make sure she was moving. And it was like I was there for maybe 4 hours and got checked on and everything was fine. I just had round ligament pain. It was just pain from my belly growing. And I literally only talked to my husband about it in my job. I didn't talk to anybody because I'm not that type of person that I just go and blurt all my information to people until I am comfortable sharing it. And so anyways, I'm having like my weekly phone call with my mom, like on Saturday. Like, this had happened on Wednesday. This was Saturday. And I told her, oh yeah, I went to the hospital this week because I had round ligament pain. You went to the hospital and you didn't tell me? How could you not tell me? And like the whole entire conversation was me. How could you, blah, blah, blah. You not tell me, just over and over again about not telling her. And I said, Mom, I just haven't, that's not the relationship that we have. I don't understand. Like, I don't call you when something's wrong, and I don't share all my information with people like that. And she just didn't understand, and she said to call her when I wanted to tell her information again. When I wanted to talk to her again, to call her. And unfortunately, that was the last phone call I had with her. Because I made that decision that if you're going to sit there and make everything about you, if you're going to sit there and think that you can make parental decisions over my child, if you think you have any type of control over anything in my life, no, you're not going to. You can't. I'm not going to allow you. Because she had done it for so long. I was 26 at the time. She had done it for so long, just controlled every aspect of my life. Controlled the image, controlled everything, because she just wanted a baby in the family again. She just wanted to hold a baby. Well, you know what? The baby grows up and she's 5 years old and she's not a little baby anymore. She's not. She takes showers. That's not a baby thing. I mean, I took showers with her when she was a baby, but not showers where she's standing up and they're so much more than just babies. They're a whole human. There's a whole human right there. And that was something that, like, I also had to explain to her, and she just didn't. She was like, well, yeah, but it's a sweet baby. She's not a baby. She's not a baby. She's my child. She's a child. She's not just a baby. She's a child. She was a baby when she was 2 years old. She's not a baby anymore. She's 5. If anything, she's a toddler. Almost a small child, becoming a big kid. She's doing big kid stuff, brushing her teeth on her own, taking showers, washing her hair, doing all that kind of stuff, feeding the cat for me without even me asking. She's making big girl decisions. She's more than that. And, like, to go back to how triggering it can be to play Play-Doh with my daughter for the first 4 years, I will say that my husband solely played with the Play-Doh. I could not do it because it was completely triggering for me. I literally just kept hearing over and over, you ruined it. Parenting is hard because you have to sit there and tell that loud voice to shut up, and just go away because it's not true. I'm creating. I'm exploring. I'm going on an adventure. And then, it's hard because there's, the rage that comes up because every once in a while I do still hear that voice. I still hear every once in a while you ruined it, and it causes me to get mad. And it's not that I'm mad at my children or my child, it's that I am mad at the feeling that I had to grow up in that. It's not fair because that's exactly how I felt when I was a child. It's not fair. So I have to go through and reparent myself. Tell myself that it's okay for me to mix Play-Doh. It's okay to play. It's okay to explore and create and look at new things and try new things. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to not be perfect because that little girl inside sometimes still is terrified of getting in trouble. What will people think? What will people think? Now it's let them think. Let them sit there and talk. Let them. And it's hard because I am walking a fine line between performance in just regular life of like how much I want to perform, but also how much I had performed when I was a child. Like, for instance, like when it came to school, I wanted to be and had to be the pleasure in class. I'm in a class full of lilies. I wanted to be the best I could be. I was the teacher's pet. I was the goody two shoes. I stayed out of trouble. I did everything I could to make sure the image for my mother that she had just
And
a
it's not
wonderful
fair that I had to
daughter
grow up in that. But the truth
and that
is, the
everything
old
was
voices
good. You're a
don't get the
child. Of
final say
course you test
anymore.
boundaries.
Look at where I am. Look where I am today. The girl who isn't allowed to mix Play-Doh now spends her days surrounded by toddlers, celebrating their messes and cheering on their wildest exploration. I build a life where creativity is my job, not my trigger. I'm running my own photography business, launching the show, and most importantly, creating a home where my daughter never asked for love. We are living proof that you can inherit a broken cycle and still build a beautiful, messy, authentic life. Thank you for sitting with me in the dark today. Keep exploring, keep creating, and I'll see you next time. And this is Motherhood After.